Hey ho, what's up ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You're watching Rock the Block Live. Now before we get onto today's headline news, there is a bit of announcement out from our partners at OneChain. OneChain 3.0 goes live today. Now for those of you who are not following the OneChain storyline and not really sure what it's about, well, let me give you some insight, okay? And this is also the reason why at Rock the Block we really love to work with OneChain, myself as a OneChain ambassador, because I truly believe in the philosophy and the way these guys at OneChain are doing business. Okay. Well, first up, 3.0 is about interoperability. So before, I think a couple of months back in September or maybe around that period, I mentioned there was a 2.0, maybe August was 2.0, and this was when they built a bridge with Ethereum. So now at 3.0, they have completed the bridge between Bitcoin, OneChain, and Ethereum. Now, if you're lost with all this, what's all this chain about? Interoperability, what? Cross-chain, what? Okay, so to give you an idea why cross-chain is more important than you think, okay? For the mainstream users, it's very easy to just look at a website today, click online and key in some data, and whoopie-doo, you get to the site you want. But remember, many years ago, 1980s, this is easily what, 30? I think I lost track of time. 30 years ago, a lot of different websites and companies, they depended a lot on something called the local area network, the LAN. Okay, so to borrow an analogy from that era, when you're dealing with LAN, it's just that company or that enterprise is able to transact within itself. So when you get a lot of projects that's building on Ethereum, when you start to use your token, you can only use that local token, that ERC20 token or the Ethereum token. You can't use, for example, say a Bitcoin to use that particular function on that project because it is built on Ethereum. You can only use Ethereum to transact. Now, what OneChain is trying to do is to create that seamless layer where the mainstream users hardly will know the difference. So this is only going to be important for people right now in the scene, you guys who are listening to this, who are really part of this growing landscape, to understand that being siloed in an independent LAN system, local area network system, is not going to be good for the entire community when there are so many great ideas and innovations being put forth, building on Ethereum, building on Cardano, building on EOS, but yet none of these systems can talk to one another. It's almost like building an app on iOS and then you cannot have Android using that, right? Kind of sucky, isn't it?
Why? What is taking so long? I wasted all day here for you. The Soul Train Awards were tonight.
And it's very restricting. So if a particular project wants to reach out to the other community for, of course, liquidity purposes and to expand the outreach, you now have to build a duplicate project on another smart contract system. So now this is, of course, a very expensive endeavor, and not to mention some coins don't even have smart contracts behind that. It's just a currency. You can't build anything for that market, right? Like the Bitcoin market. So when you have the OneChain network and you have that bridge across different silos, they call it interoperability or cross-chain, what you get is to the mainstream user, to the user who is not interested in the technology, having a Bitcoin in your wallet allows you to transact and interact with different projects built on different platforms. And you guys probably don't even know anything about that because you have your tokens or your Bitcoin and you just use it. But behind the scenes, companies like OneChain are the ones responsible for building this bridge or interface, as you call it. So that is why OneChain 3.0 is really exciting news. But I understand if most of you who are just into use case, you don't really get why this 3.0, 2.0 is a big deal. So hopefully that little explanation that I have for you sort of open up your eyes into going, wow, these guys are doing a real good job. And why this is also something to toot about is that there are other, I would say, competitive brands who are, or projects out there doing very similar things, trying to do cross-platform. But I would say that perhaps OneChain is ahead of the curve. It's the leader in this curve. And they started off in 2018, this year, launching 1.0 mainnet. And then I think in August, they launched 2.0. And now, before the end of the year, 3.0. Take note why this is a big deal, because in an environment where a lot of projects are folding, closing shops, closing their doors, we have a company like that that's really laser focused on doing business and keeping to their promise, that they are rolling out one expansion after another. Other use cases for this cross-chain capability could include cross-chain crypto loans, crypto payments, leveraging multiple chains, and any other use case for bringing Bitcoin to applications currently siloed in Ethereum. Now, one chain have a lot more planned out in the years to come with different other popular coins, but of course, who can deny Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two major tokens right now, and it is a good idea to actually bridge this. And now that this is working successfully on OneChain 3.0, we should see more coins making the list in 2019. Headline news number 1. An article written by The Block had a controversial story on Blockchain Terminal, also known as BCT. BCT came onto the scene last September 2017, raised $30 million with the intention to create a Bloomberg Terminal access-like capability for financial institutions and high-volume traders. BCT had a huge media boost and momentum from last year when it got covered by mainstream medias like Wall Street, hedge fund managers, to media channels and influencers like Crypto Briefing, CNBC South Africa, and even Crypto Crow's Jason Appleton. So a lot of people are saying that this is a great idea, but what people don't know is that behind the scenes, the founder, and in fact, it's not just people out there on the mainstream channel. In fact, the people who are working in BCT themselves don't realize that their founder, Sean McDonald, his real name is actually Boaz Manor, who was a disgraced Canadian hedge fund manager for embezzling millions of dollars, and he got kicked out. He was not allowed to do any of this financial stuff anymore, but yet he changed his name, come on board, refused to put his name or credit onto the website, let someone else run it. Eventually someone found out, blew the whistle on him, and he was forced to step down. After being jailed for 4 years, he got out of prison, he grew a beard, dyed his hair, and pretended to be somebody else.
Gene Parmesan, how you doing?
Gene, what the hell are you doing?
Fortunately, BCT as a company is still around, even though McDonald or Manor has stepped down and a new CEO has taken his place, and his name is Josh Detman. It really felt like a Kaiser Soze moment in the crypto universe, where this guy comes on out right at the end to say who he really is. This is almost as good as Satoshi Nakamoto revealing himself, but not quite.
There was a lawyer.
What lawyer, Verbal?
I am Mr. Kobayashi.
Kobayashi.
Tell me every last detail.
I work for Kaiser Soze.
Convince me.
From enterprise-grade crypto terminal to blockchain games, Lord Mancer 2, the world's first mobile MMORPG where players can trade crypto, will unfortunately stop development. Though they will still be keeping its servers and the use of Lord coins running for as long as possible, but the dev team said that they will not be making any significant improvement to the game. Unfortunately, they have ran out of funds to keep going. They have raised 1 mil when the time was good with Ethereum pricing, but now at the current price of Ethereum, it wasn't strong enough to warrant any further work. So that's pretty sad news on how raising money in cryptocurrency can actually render a company worthless in just a matter of 1 year. It's really a bad time, bad place really, but we really hope that the market can pick up fast enough before Lord Mancer 2 really have to shut down its servers as well. Right now they have 40,000 members and it's not enough to sustain operation.
Shut it down!
Headline news number 3. The government of Japan is looking at easing the process of taxing crypto investments to reduce taxation fears from negativity impacting the local crypto market. Now, we all know that governments would want to tax us eventually, but even then, the governments are pretty wise about it. They just don't go around blanket taxing everybody, because the point is what you make in crypto today can be worthless next week. So let's say you make 10 times today. They want to tax you on what that amount, but in 1 week's time you don't have the money anymore, or maybe you are, how are they going to tax that? Are they going to tax the new amount or the old amount? Because the fluctuation in crypto is so fast that it's really hard to pin down what you're going to charge. So for Japan, instead of charging 55% for tax, they're going to have a fixed 20%, and to be able to, and this is pretty cool, carry forward losses across quarters and years until the crypto itself is cashed out as fiat. So this is not as easy as it seems, because you have the fiat element, you have the crypto up and down element. So when do you actually start taxing people? If you start tax too early, well, people will people will just avoid crypto altogether, or it goes underground. But if you tax too late, then the government may feel they got shortchanged. Oh, their fine balance is really hard to pinpoint. US have their own version. Usually Japan has their ideas as well, and Korea would tend to follow both a mix of American taxation laws and the Japanese taxation laws. However, because crypto is such a worldwide phenomena, I think all the countries got to come down together and decide what's the best way forward. We can't have different taxation laws in different parts of the world, because what's going to happen is then people will start creating different accounts based in different parts of the world just to avoid crypto. I don't know. I'm not giving you guys tax evasion tips, but I'm just saying that because of cryptocurrency, the borders have been reduced so low that you can pretty much just be anywhere in the world and use your crypto and enjoy crypto.
Estamos.
What the F?
In this case, a lot of people have been traveling to, say, even Singapore, because we have fairer taxation law for businesses, to just set up home base. Well, all this remains to be seen. I don't think it's going to be any time that we get a firm word from the Monetary Authority of Singapore on any of this authority, but they are hard at work trying to figure something out. But what I can give it to them, for the Japanese government, is kudos for the effort to try to be fair for crypto investors. Now that's all the news I have for you today. Check us out. Share this video, and keep watching, because now that the end of the year is approaching, we're going to have our countdown, our top 10 list for 2018, and our top 10 list future prediction for 2019. Also, stay to the end of this video for the next clue for Satoshi's Quest.